The streets of Capernaum were alive with noise. A thick crowd pressed forward, moving as one, their voices rising in anticipation. At the heart of it all was Jesus, walking steadily, his presence drawing people like a great tide. They had heard of his miracles. The blind could see, the lame could walk, demons fled at his word. What would he do next? In the shadows of the crowd, a woman moved silently. She had no name among them, no status. Only 12 years of suffering clung to her like a curse. 12 years of shame. 12 years of doctors taking her last coin and offering nothing but false hope. She was unclean, an outcast in her own city. No one had touched her in years. No one dared. Yet here she was, pushing forward step by step, her veil low over her face. She had heard of Jesus, and something deep within her whispered, if I could just touch him. Not even his hand, not even his skin, just the edge of his robe. The crowd swelled and surged, feet kicking up dust. Jesus was moving too quickly. Soon he would be gone. Her heart pounded. Was she foolish? What if someone saw her? What if she was recognized? The law was clear. She was unclean. If anyone knew she had touched them, they could cast her out, or worse. But she had suffered too long to hesitate. She lunged forward, slipping between bodies, her hands trembling. And then, there it was, the hem of his robe. She stretched out her fingers, brushed the fabric, and everything changed. A power surged through her body, like lightning igniting her very soul. The pain, the endless gnawing ache, vanished. The weakness that had drained her for 12 years was gone in an instant. She gasped, staggering back, hands clutched over her mouth. It had worked. She was healed. She wanted to run. She needed to slip away before anyone noticed, but then something stopped her. Jesus had stopped walking. The crowd lurched, murmurs rippling outward as people bumped into one another, confused. Jesus turned. His gaze swept over them all, searching. "Who touched me?" The words cut through the noise. The disciples looked at him incredulous. Peter spoke first. "Master, there are people all around you. Everyone is touching you." But Jesus shook his head. "No," he said, "someone touched me. I felt power go out from me." The woman froze. Her breath came in shallow gasps. Did he know? Of course he knew. He had felt it. He had seen her. The crowd shifted uneasily. All eyes were searching, scanning. Who had touched him? Who dared? She could have run. She could have disappeared into the mass of people, but her feet would not move. This man, this was not an ordinary man. He had healed her without a word, without even looking at her. How could she hide? Slowly, trembling, she fell to her knees. The crowd parted around her. Silence fell. She bowed her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. Her hands shook as she whispered, "It was me." And then she told him everything. The 12 years of suffering, the doctors who had failed her, the loneliness, the fear, and the faith. That tiny ember that had told her if only she touched his garment, she would be healed. She braced herself for anger, for rebuke, for the law's punishment. But Jesus knelt down, and then he smiled. "Daughter," he said, his voice like a balm over an old wound, "your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Her breath hitched, not just healed, accepted, seen, loved. She rose to her feet, her tears falling freely now, but they were no longer tears of sorrow. As she stepped back, the crowd surged forward again, pressing in around Jesus, the moment vanishing into the sea of movement. But she would never be the same. For 12 years, she had suffered in silence, and in a single moment, Jesus had restored her completely. A single touch of faith changed her life forever. What does this story of Jesus' love and power mean to you? Share your thoughts below.